Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you guys are. So guys, I hope you're keeping well. I wanted to talk a bit about Dmitry Bivol. So Dmitry Bivol is focused on fighting this weekend. You know, he has told the reporters that I'm looking forward to this fight against Zordo Ramirez, and I wanna win this fight. Because there's some big opportunities moving forward. He said, I've instructed my team that I want to be known in boxing as a great. I want to have all the belts. So basically, Dmitry Bivol for me is motivated by being undisputed. It seems like he wants to get more belts, and he's frustrated in the sense that he hasn't got the opportunities with his talent to fight for more belts, become a unified champion. So I think he's that happy with this fight, but I think the next fight he wants a big fight. He wants a fight where he can have more belts, be a unified champ. Unfortunately, he hasn't got that opportunity. So I think he's been left a little bit frustrated with the lack of opportunity and wanting to win more belts. So what he says is that he's focused on wanting to become undisputed, and said the Canelo fight isn't really a priority. I think he said he'd be willing to go and consider the Canelo fight at 168, and the reason why, in my opinion, is because he knows that's another opportunity where he gets an opportunity to become undisputed, and that's why he would be willing to go down to 168. But he says his focus is on Beterbiev, and that's the fight he wants. He goes, I don't want to focus on people that I've already beat. I've beat Canelo already, and I don't know if there was a rematch clause in the Canelo contract. I'm not sure there was. Because if there was, maybe Dmitry Bivol won't have an option but to fight Canelo. I don't think he'll have a problem to fight Canelo. And the reason why, because I think the money would be so much that I think he'd be stupid not to take it. But at the end of the day, it just doesn't seem to me like Bivol is motivated by the dough. I think he is motivated by the dough because he's a prize fighter. But I think it's more about belts because he knows he's in a position, and he says that more people recognize him now after beating Canelo. You know, his star power has gone to another level. So I think he knows the money's gonna be there for him. I think it's about him wanting to create a legacy and him wanting to make a name for himself, where he can be remembered as a great, and I think that's what's motivating him right now, because I think he knows he's got himself into a position where he's going to be recognized. He's going to be recognized by a lot of people because of what he achieved, what he did, beat Canelo, who a lot of people didn't really give him much of a chance. He was a massive underdog in the fight, which I thought was unfair. And that was probably because of what Canelo had done recently and how Canelo was rated in boxing. But the fight was obviously a lot closer than what people thought it would be. And in the end, actually, it was pretty decisive for Bivol because he was just too good for Canelo in the end. But I am intrigued to see Bivol because Bivol looks a bit frustrated to me. I don't think he wants to fight Canelo again. Not because he doesn't think he can beat him. He just doesn't see what he gets out of it. Like he says, I don't really see the point. And now I don't know whether that's a negotiation for Bivol to get more money. Because if there is no rematch clause, Bivol could say, you know what, Bivol could try to get as much money as he can from Canelo because he's not obligated to fight Canelo. And it may be a case where he's not interested in that fight. If in my opinion, if Bivol fights Beterbiev, that for me is probably better for Canelo because Canelo can then fight the winner. I just think that Bivol looks at it and thinks that I've just beaten this guy. I've beaten this guy well. I don't need to fight him again. What am I going to gain fighting him again? Canelo doesn't really bring anything to the table apart from money. So, of course, money's what fighters are motivated by, although they don't like saying it. Bivol, although he's not saying that, he's not really motivated by the money, he wants to fight Beterbiev, who I don't think will be as big a payday personally. But I think it's a case where he's either trying to negotiate more money or he's just not interested. He wants to be undisputed. I personally think it's a bit of both. I do think he wants to be undisputed because Bivol looks at himself and he thinks, I've only got one belt. And although I beat Canelo, and it felt like, it was a big victory, this, that, the other, it wasn't for any belts. So he's kind of got that now. He's already beaten Canelo. He's kind of got that fame. He's got that recognition. He's thinking that the only thing that can happen now, I can make a whole heap of money, but I could lose to Canelo and then I could lose everything, right? Whereas this way, if he fights Beterbiev, the Canelo fight will always be there because Canelo would always want to avenge that loss. So we can get paid. Now, I'm not saying if Bivol was to lose to Beterbiev, Canelo might not be interested anymore. Canelo might want to go down the route of Beterbiev, but I like most people don't really want to see the Bivol and Canelo fight anymore. I think maybe hardcore Canelo fans, but I think people want to see something else because they thought the fight was pretty one-sided and there was no need for a rematch. And I think Beterbiev is the fight that a lot of people want to see, and really I want to see as well. I think that's the fight that people have wanted to see in the light heavyweight division. I think that's the fight that interests people. That's the fight that people want to see. People aren't really interested in seeing another Canelo fight. But I wouldn't mind it if it got made. Of course, I'd watch it. But I think the fight that really makes sense for Bivol and Beterbiev is them fighting each other. Like Beterbiev is getting older. Beterbiev is going to fight Yard, which a lot of people again see as a nothing fight, but it's a mandatory. So Beterbiev's got to take care of his mandatory. But at the end of the day, we want to see Bivol and Beterbiev fight one another. It's not quite as big a fight as Spence Crawford, but it's really frustrating that these type of fights that are mouth-watering clashes don't seem to get made when, really both guys are neither that big stars, and it would make a lot of sense for both guys to fight one another. So I don't quite understand why a Beterbiev and Bivol fight doesn't get made. I do think the fight would have to be on ESPN because I don't think Bob Arum is going to allow Beterbiev to fight on DAZN. He never does. The only time he lets his fighters go when he knows that he's got something to gain, like when Ramirez and Hooker, he felt that Ramirez was going to beat Hooker, so he let Ramirez go and fight Hooker on DAZN because he felt he's going to beat Hooker and then he's going to become unified. Then he can come back and fight on ESPN when he's got bigger profile, bigger name. He's got 2 belts. He's a unified champion. So Bob Arum only does it when he doesn't really think that the fight holds much value. But when the fight holds value, Bob Arum is very shrewd, very sharp. He's going to want that fight on ESPN. So if Bivol wants that fight, he's going to have to fight. He's going to have to fight him on ESPN because Beterbiev ain't going to be allowed to fight on any other platform. Bob Arum's history will show that he doesn't allow his fighters unless the fight is a nothing fight and Bob Arum's fight has something to gain and then he becomes a bigger star. Like Teofimo Lopez was going to fight. He was going to fight, what's his name, Cambosos on another platform for like a lot of money. Bob Arum got a cut from that, a huge cut from that. They were paying a huge, Cambosos, Lopez, silly money. And Bob Arum was going to get a cut from that. So he didn't mind that because the money was so great. And he knew that they couldn't pay Lopez that kind of money, right? And the fight wasn't really going to bring in that much value. So I can understand why Bob Arum does that. Bob Arum's a very sharp, shrewd man. So for me personally, I just want to see Bivol and Beterbiev. I don't care what platform. I don't care where it's on. I actually think for us, if it is on ESPN, it probably makes a lot of sense because it will probably be free on Sky Sports. And it will be in Sky in the morning at 4 a.m. most likely. So it'll probably be free for us on Sky Sports. So I actually want it on ESPN because, they've got a deal with Sky Sports, which means that the fight will be on Sky Sports and we'll get it for free because they're not going to put that fight on pay-per-view because it just won't do any numbers. They'd rather put that fight on Sky, regular Sky. And I think the hardcore boxing fans will definitely stay tuned and watch that. They put that on pay-per-view, no one's going to buy it. Simple as that, because neither of those guys are well enough names to be put on pay-per-view 4 a.m. in the morning. So I think that fight will be on Sky Sports most likely. So that will be something that I'll definitely stay up for. And I'm pretty sure a lot of hardcore boxing fans will stay up for. So I really do hope it is on ESPN. But I think that's the only way the fight happens, if the fight is on ESPN. So hopefully, if there's no Canelo fight, then maybe Bob Arum and Bivol and his team can do a deal and make that fight, because I really want to see that fight. I personally think that's one of the best fights to be made in boxing. It's a 50-50 fight. I fancied Beterbiev, then you kind of go with Bivol, then you kind of think Beterbiev will be too strong. There's a lot. That fight is just a mouth-watering clash and a great fight. A lot of people are favoring Bivol right now, but I do think Beterbiev can win that fight for sure. Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section, bro. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.